Good afternoon, traders. It's Bill Baruch with Blue Line Futures, and this is the FX rundown. The Fed cut rates yesterday, and the dollar index, the dollar broadly rallied against currencies, but we're seeing some of those gains dissipate here today. And the reason being, although the Fed yesterday, the members did not forecast another cut here this year, the markets are holding on to those forecasts. You're seeing a probability of 50% in October for one more cut, or at least seeing one more cut this year by the end of the year with a 60% probability. So the fact that those probabilities have held ground, we've seen the dollar fall back just a little bit, but it's not only the Fed and not only the dollar, it's other central banks too. First, the Swiss National Bank, they left rates unchanged, which supported the currency. They also tweaked it a penalty against excess reserves on the negative rates. So ultimately on that as well, you're seeing the Swiss franc rally here today against the euro, but also it's lifted the euro a bit. You saw the euro lift that same hour against the dollar. And then with the Bank of England, although they didn't do anything and really move the currency much, you're seeing comments come from the ECB, come from Juncker today, that there could be a Brexit deal within reach. We've heard this before, but it is rallying the British pound here strongly towards the end of the day, and the British pound is hovering at multi-month highs. Ultimately, though, what we're looking here for most closely is in the euro and in the dollar. The dollar index, that floor 97.5, it's held that. There is a steep trend line in the dollar index that's more closely with where it is here today, 97.70, 97.80. There's a lot of support down here. The same way on the inverse side, you have it on the euro. The euro, that trend line is there, and the trend line about 111.60. We've been talking about it all week. Started the week out as high as 111.85. The euro needs to get out above there, and really, ultimately, not only close above there, but close above that high from the ECB meeting last Thursday. Then you're going to get probably a short covering rally. You're going to get some additional buying, and that could take it to the tailwind, as well as a move below 97.5 in the dollar index. So keep an eye on that. The Bank of Japan also met. Now, although they are leaving the door open for further easing in October, nothing here at today's meeting, and that really in and of itself has helped the yen move higher on the session, battling back from 92.5 low roughly. We broke below support at 93, but really there's support all the way down from 92.5 area, 93. If you look back to August 1st, when we saw a lot of turmoil hit the equity markets, that's where the yen really boosted and started a strong run. There's a lot of support into this region. That's where the yen's battling at right now. It's not been a great path. We've been very neutral to the yen, but it may be a little overdone here in the near term, just to see what the dollar does too. The dollar needs to weaken in order to support the yen, but it's tough to imagine the yen is going to rally and hold on to rallies given the stock market at near record highs right now. Safe havens in general are going through the gyrations. The 30-year bond is up. The gold is falling back from session highs. The yen is consolidating higher here in the day. It looks like, again, a gyrating between the safe havens, but none of them are really breaking down. Where the bond has moved higher over the past couple sessions, the gold has held 1,500 roughly, and the yen is one that's been taking on the chin more than anything. But this news at the Bank of Japan may not do anything here, and it potentially hasn't done anything yet, but could potentially do something in October, has given a little bit of room for a relief rally. Now, let's look at the Aussie dollar. It is weakening here from the resistance level we've been talking about, 68.90. China tonight, we could hear something on interest rates from them. It could be some sort of something that could boost the Aussie dollar, but without any new news on trade, any new news out of China, the Aussie dollar, again, this is that dead cat balance from multi-year lows, and it's opening the door for some selling now after this dead cat balance has run course. And then for the Canadian dollar, retail sales tomorrow, we looked at that. An ADP jobs number was better than expected today. Nothing really there for the Canadian dollar, but boosting it is a bounce back. And crude oil, keep an eye on it. Looking back, we talked about it on the Midday Market Minute, looking at crude oil coming out of last weekend, that rally. Not many people really want to be short here. Obviously, the comments from Iran that they're going to be ready to see an all-out war, any sort of attack on them, and so ultimately there is some you can imagine some covering of shorts into the weekend, some supportive action in crude oil, which could also boost the Canadian dollar, especially if you get better than expected retail sales number. And then really to cap things off, tomorrow we got the Fed members coming back and speaking. New York Fed President John Williams and Boston Fed President, the dissenter for the second meeting in a row, Boston Fed President Rosengrant also talks in the morning. So they're going to move currencies too. Give us a call. We're here to help with anything on the board. 312-278-0500. You can email us info@bluelinefutures.com. Check our website for updates. Sign up for a free trial research there. But remember, futures trading involves substantial risk of loss. It is not suitable for all investors. Thanks a lot.